Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much first of all for subscribing to my channel. This video is the first video in the startup series, and since this is the first video I'll be talking about mostly about the basic stuff here, where I will discussing some of the basic elements of about the startup which in details we will be discussing in the next follow-on videos. So let's get started. To start with, first of all, my profile. My name is Mohit Babu. I did my BTech in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Patna 2013 batch. Currently, I'm working as a senior associate in a venture capital firm, which is managing an AUM of more than 1,000 crore. Previously, I had worked as a process engineer in a semiconductor company in Malaysia, and also was part of the student exchange program at University of Saskatchewan, Canada. Now, let's move to today's topic. What is a startup? So, lot of time this question arises: whom do we call as a startup? Can we call Reliance as a startup? Can we call the Kirana Dukan in our neighborhood as a startup? So these questions keep coming. But let me tell you, startup is a temporary phase in an organization. For a short period of time, an organization will be called as startup, and then obviously when it grows, it will be called a full-fledged company. Then it when opens offices in different countries, it will be called as multinational corporation. So a startup is a temporary organization which is in search of a scalable, repeatable, and a profitable business model. What is a scalable, repeatable, and profitable business model? So scalable, obviously, that what you are doing for say one, two, or three people, you can do it for 1,000 people. If you could give the same service to 1,000 people, that is the scale from one to two to three customers. You are going to 1,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh customers. What is repeatability? Repeatability is if you are able to deliver a service to a particular customer, are you able to deliver the same quality, same standard of product and service to that customer again and again and again? It's called repeatability. And profitability is basically if whatever you are spending or on serving that particular customer is lesser than whatever you are earning from the customer. So basically you are making profit on per unit sales. The simple understanding for them is scalable is if a food delivery company is there who is delivering food in a particular pin code, can it deliver in the entire city? Can it deliver in the entire four, five cities, six cities, seven cities in the country? That is called scale. You are scaling from say one pin code to 100 pin codes. Repeatability is if you're delivering to a particular customer who is staying at a particular apartment, are you able to repeatably deliver the same quality of service to that particular customer again and again? And profitability, obviously, what you're earning from that customer is more than what you're spending to serve that customer. Now let's go ahead. Now I have talked about what is a startup who is looking for that specific business model which is scalable, repeatable, and profitable. But how to find that successful business model? That successful business model could be to finding a successful business model. The important aspect is the customer development method. Through this customer development method, we will be able to find that successful business model. How to do that? We will discuss in the coming slide. Now, what is a customer development method? Now, look at this graph. It comprises of four stages. One is customer discovery, one is customer validation, then third one is customer creation, and fourth one is company building. The first two phase, that is customer discovery and customer validation, is called a search phase or a search mode, and the last two phase is called an execution phase or an execution mode. Why the first two are called a search mode and why the next two are called execution mode? The reasoning is simple. In the first two phases, we are able to find out a business model. Whether it is successful or not, we don't know, but we are finding a business model. In the execution mode, we are full-fledgedly executing the business model. And if we are able to find a business model and if we are able to successfully execute that business model, we will finally get a successful business model. We'll discuss this all these four phases in detail in the coming slides. Now let's talk about customer discovery. What is the customer discovery? The customer discovery is nothing but basically translating a founder's vision into a testable business model hypothesis. Now again, let's go back to the food delivery example which I gave. Now, what is the founder's vision and what is the basis of the vision? Suppose you are a founder. One day you don't want to cook at your home, and or you don't know how to cook at your home, and your maid has not come if you have made at your house. Now you want to go out and eat, but you're too lazy to go out and eat, because the nearby restaurant, you don't like the food of a nearby restaurant, and the restaurant whose food you like is at some distance, say 4 5 kilometers 6 kilometers, and don't want to travel. It is very sunny outside. Now you're thinking, oh, if there would have been a food delivery service, that would have been great. Now this is a thing which you have thought. Now you thought about this and thought ki, okay, this can be a business model also. Why don't I start a company where I will deliver, or my company will deliver food to people like me. So this is a founder's vision, that he wants to set up a food delivery company which is able to deliver food to relevant buyers. Now the second phase is customer validation phase. What is that phase? That test the business model for repeatability and scalability. Repeatability and scalability, how will you test that? Now you build this business model hypothesis that you want to deliver the food. Now the thing is, what you have to find out, that is there enough market for this kind of service? Is it only you who is lazy on an afternoon, and don't want to go outside, don't want to cook, you don't have maid, or there are other people like you also who are also facing the similar problem? So this kind of a problem is basically dealt with doing a primary and secondary research. What is a primary research? Primary research is going and speaking with various other folks, and trying to understand, okay, this is the problem which you have faced, you are thinking of building a solution where a food delivery service could be available. Are others also thinking or faced any such similar issues, and is this solution good enough solution? So what you're trying to do, you're trying to understand whether there are other folks who are having the same problem, so that you could understand that if you build a product, you could scale it, because there are multiple users who are there. Also, repeatability is important. Now you need to ask the question, or you need to understand whether it is a one-off case, that maybe once in 3 months you face this kind of issue, or this is constant thing which keeps happening, that maid is not available most of the time, in a month, like 4 5 6 days. So whether, if the particular consumer, if you build an app and you start a service, whether he will do it on an occasional basis on 1 or 2 days, or is he a repeatable customer who will keep start ordering? There are other reasons also why he want to order. Maybe guests are coming at your home and you don't want to cook for so many guests, or you are not able to cook for so many guests, you want to order, or you have a party planned, or you have a match screening planned, or a movie screening planned among your friends. So there are various use cases. You try to understand whether the proposition which you're trying to build or thinking about, is there enough market for that? Are people looking for that kind of product or solution? Then the third one is customer creation. Now what is a customer creation? Now once you understand the kind of customer demographic and what kind of customer you want to target to, then establish a market. Okay, these are the folks who I want to target. Now how big is the size? How many these kind of folks are available? Now if I talk about a demographic, what is a demographic? A demographic would be, for this kind of a food delivery use case, is somebody who don't want to cook, because that is the demographic who will order. Somebody who also is dependent on external people like maid, because many times if you don't want to cook, but there are other guys in your family who are able to cook, so you don't bother too much. But I am cook, I can't cook, I am single, and I depend on maid. So this is your demographic. Now again, food delivery would be obviously costlier than food in restaurants, because there is delivery fee involved in all those things. So what kind of user segment would be able to pay for that kind of service? Obviously you will not be, the delivery will not be sustainable for a cheaper food items like uh, maybe chocolate, cakes, or samosa or patties and all, because it is a 15 20 rupees, and you cannot deliver those and charge a delivery fee, because the delivery fee will be more than the cost of the food itself. So you establish a market. Okay, this is my target market, this kind of products which I am going to deliver, this kind of consumers are there who are going to buy this product. How big is it? How many such products are getting sold, and how many such consumers are there? Now the second thing is position product, in terms of how you want to position the product. Basically, whether you want to position it as a as a convenience product. For example, you can start the food delivery service and say that why do you need to go to on a sunny afternoon to a restaurant to eat? You have a convenience of food coming at your doorstep. You position it as a convenience product, or you position as a discovery product. And for aspirational customers, for example, you say ki, okay, uh, there are so many 15 restaurants which are there who can deliver to your doorstep. You Some of the restaurants are quite far away, you may not be able to go to that restaurant, or you may not know about those restaurants because those restaurants you have never visited. Now with this app you get a chance to explore more cuisines, more food varieties from faraway restaurants, also from different restaurants also. So this is a discoverability positioning. So it's all about how do you want to position, where do you see a bigger problem lies, and then build a demand in terms of incentivizing, enabling users to download your app, then incentivizing them to order from your platform so that they're able to experience in first hand how they'd like to order food and get it delivered. And if they like the service, they would come again and again and try to order multiple times. Then we have a company building phase. Company building phase is very simple. It is basically once you have that business model ready and you have established the market, you have built the product positioning, you have built the demand. Now it's all about scaling. Now you start from a small area, 2 or 3 pin code, you scale it to 100 pin codes, 200 pin codes. You scale it, you improve the organization size, you hire more you onboard more restaurants, you get more delivery partners, and now you are in the growth phase. So you expand to more and more cities. As you expand, as you scale, your per unit cost will go down, your profitability will improve and increase. So obviously this is the fourth part of the customer development. Now one of the things which is very important is this build, measure and learn loop. Why is it important? Because you will obviously not build something at the first go which is perfect. Obviously you need to get feedback from the user and then iterate a process. So this is how the build, measure and learn loop would look like. So you have an idea, you build a product, then you measure the performance of the product, you get the data and then you learn from the data, and again you with this learning you change, slightly modify the idea and build again, or slightly improve the product. There are two critical aspects of this build, measure and learn loop, which is minimum viable product as well as pivot. What is minimum viable product? Minimum viable product is the basic product which you are building, which you can show to your customers. Now if you go ahead and ask a customer or a potential customer, I would not say customer, a potential customer, and what do you think about this, it is very difficult for a customer to actually visualize uh, certain product or offering which you are talking about. Why it is difficult to visualize? It is difficult to visualize because uh, customer may say that okay, they would be willing to pay for that, they will be interested, but till the time you have that product or a service ready in front of the customer, they'll not be able to give you the very pinpointed feedback. So it is always good to develop a minimum viable product. Just let's not talk everything in the air. Build a minimum viable product, build a basic app where a customer could be able to experience how is it like to order from say 1 or 2 restaurants only, which is from a nearby store. Yourself deliver it to the customer, so that customer experience and understand that how is it like to experience this kind of service. So this is a minimum viable product you need to build. Now that minimum viable product you show it to your customer and then you get the feedback, and you analyze all the feedback with various data points. You analyze what kind of feedback you are getting. Now if the feedback is encouraging and customers are liking that, you go ahead and move to the execution phase of the model. But if you find that okay, this is not happening, there is some issues, customer are not liking that, maybe the delivery cost is too high, maybe the restaurants are taking the order but they are not ready with the food, or you find that some things which are not going right, may need to pivot. It could be a complete pivot where you are completely changing the business model, or it will be a small pivot. Maybe you pivot and say, okay, uh, from now on, I will not be focusing on this category of food because this category of food is very difficult. I will be focusing on food which are quick to make, like for example, dosa or idli, which are idlis which are already available in the restaurant. They don't make it on the spot, or dosa which is made very quickly. So you think, iterate, and build all this kind of model, and if it works you go ahead, and if it does not you pivot. So that's all, guys, from my side on this first edition of Startup Basics. What I would request you is please subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell so that whenever I upload my videos, you will get a notification. Thank you very much for watching this, and please subscribe. Thank you.